Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, everybody. I am at Caister Park this morning, quite close to the parish church of Caister St Edmund. And really, we've started a new season this morning, because once you get to November, technically it's early winter now. Some of the trees here still have their leaves on, and I'm looking at some of the silver birch trees in the low early morning sunshine here. The wind is blowing and the tree trunks are shining, which is really welcome colour. A lot of the trees lost their leaves already, and I'm scanning up, and these birch trees have just put on a little bit of spurt, late autumn growth, and some of them still have their leaves on. I'm looking up against the lovely blue sky and scanning down the trunk. I have a little camera in my hand as well as the microphone. So I'm just going to walk up to one of the silver birch trees, and this morning we're going to be looking at the weird and wonderful at High Ash Farm. I don't fit into any of those categories, don't worry. And it's just wonderful to see the bark absolutely shining. But there's something special which loves to grow in and around these silver birch trees. And it's one of our most colourful fungi. And I'm just going to lay down on the ground and get up close and friendly with one of these fungi. Here we go. Put the camera down on the ground. Oh dear, laying down here with the sun behind me. And there is one of the most distinctive fungi out in the Norfolk countryside. It's the fly agaric. Really needs no description, because it's the one that turns up in fairy books, fairy tales, and it's meant to be a little perch for fairies to sit on. All sorts of myths and stories surrounding this fungi. It's bright, bright, bright red is the only way to describe it. And this morning when I came down, it had only just started to open up the cap. It all happens really quickly. It was a tiny little bud at 6 o'clock this morning, covered with a white veil. That cap has now opened up and is pretty well 4 inches across, and it's covered in white dots, very distinctive. Snow white stalk and white gills underneath, and it's almost ready to start dropping its spores onto the woodland floor here. So stunningly beautiful, quite a poisonous fungi. Helicopter now going over the top of me. And in 1893, I think it was in the United States, an Italian diplomat ate 2 dozen for breakfast, and sadly, after a night of convulsions, he died the next morning. So it is pretty poisonous. But over in Siberia, there's a tribe over there, and they dry these particular fungi and eat them over the winter months, and it causes hallucinations. And that's pretty much stopped now, because they've moved over to vodka. So anyway, unless you know exactly what fungi to eat out in the countryside, it's always best to avoid them if possible, and just leave them and enjoy what I'm doing, which is just the colours and the shapes of all the different fungi. So, as we go forwards into the countryside half hour, we're going to be looking at some of the other things that might surprise you at this time of the year. Often people find autumn, early winter devoid of colour, but it's anything but, as you've just seen with the silver birch trunks shining away. It really cheers you up, and this bright red fungi in front of me as well, full of hope as well. Just makes you feel really, really good. So there we are. We're going to be looking at some of the weird things as well. Some of those will be at night time, so I'll be up and about, just capturing a few minutes of the wonderful and weird things out in the Norfolk countryside for you. Speaking of which, Rat has just arrived. He's been running down in amongst the silver birch trees here. What are you doing? Here he is, there, walking around. Let's see if we can get him on the little camera. There you are. What are you up to? He's truly, truly full of mischief. Seen somebody down the track and he's having a look. But there we are. There we are. Early winter out in the Norfolk countryside. Really, really special time of year.